Hi, good evening, everyone. I am going to talk about my proposal for my Capstone 2020 project, which is on case-based learning. What is case-based learning? The simplest the simplest definition is that case-based learning is learning that is oriented towards a particular case. This typically involves using real-world or close to real-world examples. In the world of medicine and medical education, this typically takes the form of small group discussions facilitated by a medical instructor for med students, or grand rounds for practicing physicians. Grand rounds is where practicing doctors will get together and discuss particularly difficult cases and how to solve them or how to go about solving them. And in-person simulation for medical students again. This is where specific scenarios are recreated and the students are then asked to work through them, typically as a team. So then that way they can get a sense of what it's like to be an actual doctor. So why is this important? Case-based learning works because it is essentially a form of rehearsal and deliberate practice. Case-based learning allows students to put their theoretical knowledge into practice. And to put it simply, case-based learning makes students have to think like a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher or whatever your chosen field is. This is important because the more deliberate practice a student is able to have, the better their decision-making skills will be, and the better the outcomes will be for their patients. Case-based learning also allows students to make mistakes in a controlled environment where real patients won't be harmed, but the students can still see the impact of the choices that they made and receive appropriate feedback on how to improve. So what is the problem that I'm trying to address? I specifically work within my department, which is the University of Minnesota Medical School Department of Emergency Medicine. I specifically work with first and second year students. Our department provides in-person simulation using high-fidelity mannequins and standardized patients, which are essentially just actors pretending to be patients. This is the precursor to students working with real patients during their third and fourth years in their clinical rotations. Okay, so I have worked as both a sim jockey and a standardized patient. A sim jockey is simply the person who runs the mannequin to provide the scenario. Standardized patient, again, is an actor pretending to be a patient. And as both a sim jockey and a standardized patient, I have personally seen these otherwise brilliant academic students completely freeze up when they encounter simulation for the first time and when they have to make a decision. Often during the debrief, which occurs after the simulation, it's clear that the students have the medical knowledge to make these decisions and to work through the simulation, but just simply don't have the practice or the experience. Simulation is an excellent way to practice medicine, but it's also extremely time and resource intensive, and the university can't simply do it regularly enough. So in order to make the best of the limited simulation opportunities that the students have, I propose creating interactive virtual cases like the ones they would encounter during simulation in order for the students to get more deliberate practice before simulation. This will allow the students to feel more comfortable making decisions during simulation and will help them delve deeper into a particular case during simulation. I plan on recreating the same cases used in the Essentials of Clinical Medicine course, which I coordinate, which is what my department teaches, using authoring tools, possibly looking at Adobe Captivate or even some open source tools like H5P or Google Course Builder, and perhaps using some non-authoring tools and repurposing certain tools like Qualtrics to create some of these cases. My goal is to make these virtual cases immersive by using audio, video, and sounds, but to also make the cases enjoyable, much like a choose-your-own-adventure book, but for emergency medicine doctors. So the whole idea is I want these cases to help the students start to think like doctors and not be afraid to make decisions and not be afraid to make mistakes, because if you're going to make a mistake, this would be the time to do it, rather than when working with a real patient. My hope is that ultimately these cases won't replace simulation, but will be in addition to, and I would like to make them available as pre-study materials before simulation. So then when the students get to simulation for the first time, they're not quite as shocked and don't have that deer in the headlights look when they're asked to make a decision. So that is my proposal. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from the rest of you. Thank you.